Welcome back to the Anxious Creative Podcast. I am so excited that you are here. I'm even more excited if you're watching this on YouTube right now. Oh my goodness, I've been loving bringing these episodes to you in video form. And this week is just as good as ever before. Oh my gosh, I've got my friend and student Rebecca here to hang out with us and chat with us about her story. And oh my gosh, we totally overshare about one of the most embarrassing moments I've ever had, but also probably one of the funniest. I think you're gonna love it. Even one of my staff members wrote to me while she was doing some editing being like, oh my gosh, Dawn, the story of the grilled cheese place. So stay tuned for that, but you're gonna learn so much more. Rebecca is amazing. She's one of the most hilarious people I know, but also one of the most kindest, genuine people, and you are going to love her. Oh my goodness, if you're watching this right now, you can see like a little piece of sun going across my face. Anyway, buckle up, get ready for another amazing episode of the Anxious Creative Podcast.
I overthink, I overshare, and I overanalyze. So come explore with me as I chat about business, life, and relationships, all through the lens of an anxious creative. All right, you guys, I am here, with Rebecca Anthony. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I am so excited to have you on the podcast today. Like, literally could not wait for this recording day.
Yeah, I'm super excited too, because I've been listening to your podcast for a couple years now. So
really? Like when it first came out?
Well, it was probably 2 years ago maybe now, or has it been out 2 years?
I want to say I started it in early 2018 or maybe 2017. I took a couple hiatuses, but did you ever listen to it when it was called Overshare in the Salon Chair?
No, I only knew it as the Anxious Creative. So maybe it hasn't been 2 years, but I remember listening to it like a few months before we met. And then I met you and I was like, Dawn, I really love your podcast, but I like watching YouTube videos. So like, I don't listen to it all the time, but like, I really love it. So I feel like this is a full circle moment for me.
This is I totally forgot about that conversation because you were like, I prefer watching. And I was like, oh, maybe I should start recording them. Yeah. And you were the inspiration for me to start recording them. So how cool is that?
Well, I think that's awesome. Well, because people like to watch and I like to watch too. So
yeah. So do you watch The Anxious Creative now?
I do.
I love it.
Yeah, I've watched all the girls and like the girls that I know personally and a couple of people I didn't know I've seen now. And I'm also watching you in Lindsay's series that you guys are doing. So I think it's really cute. Fun. I like to connect with people. Like I need to see their face if I'm talking to someone. Like I feel like if I'm just listening, I'm without. And I'm super nosy, so I need to see like what you're wearing, what facial expressions you're making. So that's why I have to watch it. I do listen sometimes, but I like to watch.
Nice. No, I was gonna make some dirty joke about, but we'll just keep it okay, so now that people, they know that you are a YouTube, would you say YouTube fanatic?
Yes.
You watch, and you have some really cool, I'm like just getting into the world of YouTube. I feel like maybe I'm just like 3 years too old for the YouTube crowd or something. Like I missed the wave.
I don't think so. You'll get it. You'll figure it out.
Get it. Okay, so now that everyone kind of knows you a little bit, tell them actually a little bit more of like, who is Rebecca Anthony?
Ooh, Rebecca Anthony. I am a 28-year-old hairstylist / owner.
I didn't know you were, I thought you were 30.
No,
you're in your 20s. Sorry, not that I think you're older.
No. I tell people I wish I was like 76. So I think I started my career young. I went to beauty school in high school and I went through a lot when I was younger. So I think it just made me kind of grow up a bit sooner. So I think most people that meet me think that I'm a little bit older, but I'm 28. I just turned 28 this summer. Thank you. And I have had my own business. This month is 3 years. And I've been doing hair for like 12 years.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
12 years. Yeah.
A long time.
Anyone who's watching this right now can see your beautiful salon in the background.
Thank you.
I love it.
It's a two chair salon.
Nice. And so walk me through the series of your career. Like, how did you end up being on your own?
Oh, so that's a funny story. I actually was let go. I was suspended without pay from the salon that I was at. And because I refused to sign something that I did not feel passionate about. And it created an uproar. And I already was kind of feeling like the couple months leading up to that, I was feeling, what's the word? Like not
disenchanted?
worth, maybe. I don't know what that word means, but it sounds fancy.
I don't know if I do.
No, I felt like I wasn't valued. Maybe that's the word. I felt like I wasn't valued. You know, there was a lot of uneasy feelings that were going on. And then when I was, you know, given something to sign and I didn't feel comfortable with it, things kind of took a major turn and I was asked to leave and to not return until we discussed it further. And, you know, I had schedules on the book. I was fully booked for weeks and I was actually going to a class that weekend in Minneapolis. So I said, well, I had to take my tools because I'm going to a hands-on class. So I literally took a garbage bag, threw everything I had in this garbage bag. And I said, okay, I'm going to go. And they're like, okay, we'll talk to you soon. And that was the last time I talked to them. I literally went and signed a lease for a salon suite the next day. And they called me, they texted me literally the next day because they were like, we need to talk about this. I think things maybe got out of hand. And I, you know, when I'm done, I'm done. Like I can take a lot and that's like every relationship. But when someone's crossed that like major line with me, I'm out. So I said I had maybe like an hour of tears and then I got on the phone, contacted people, signed a lease. And the weekend I got back from my class, I set up a salon suite and hit the ground running.
Wow.
Yeah. So the rug was totally pulled up under me.
Yeah. And I feel like they pulled the rug up from under you and then you went and pulled like the flooring up from under them. Like you're going to suspend me without pay and not communicate anything more, like peace, which I think is so good.
For sure. Well, because in our industry, let's face it, you're fired. You know, if you're going to take my income away from me. And I think they were in trouble. There was a wedding booked that weekend. I was doing makeup for the bridal party. And, you know, I just said, enough's enough. And my mom always says, because I was unhappy, like I said, but my mom always said, you need to get your ducks in a row. You need to get your ducks in a row. And I'm like, screw the ducks. Like whatever happens, happens. And I mean, it happened.
Yeah, that's very I won't want to say similar, but like when I left the salon I was at, I gave my notice and that day at the end of my shifts, my boss brought me into the back room and she explained that she knows how hard it is to start a business. So she wanted to do me this favor and let me go that night. She'd pay me out the 2 weeks. So she did it legally, which was nice.
Wow.
Paid me out the 2 weeks, but walked me out and watched me pack up all my stuff. And it felt so like, once again, totally legal. And that's what they do in the corporate world, right? Is like watch people pack up and let them walk out. And we had a front desk girl who had come from corporate world. So I think that's where the influence came in. But I remember being like, whoa, this isn't what I expected. Like anyone else who had ever left the salon got worked out their 2 weeks. They got like a goodbye. It was like a family atmosphere. Wow. And I don't know what it was about me that I was just like cut off and like there's other weird shady things that happen. And it just like, it was like the fuel to the fire of like, I'm going to prove to you that I can do better without you.
That's always my biggest motivator.
Yeah.
And that's interesting that your salon was like that. Cause I feel like in the States here, it's not like that. Like I had a girlfriend that was escorted out by police when she left her job. Like in salons here, or unless someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but they don't do 2 weeks. Like they think everyone's competition and you're going to cause an uproar. And it's unfortunate that it has to be that way.
But they would legally have to pay them out, right? For the 2 weeks?
No, I don't think so. No.
I
wasn't, no.
Yeah, labor laws here, it's like if you lay someone off, you have to pay them, unless you fire them with cause. I don't think you have to, but you have to give them. And because I gave 2 weeks, I remember like her being like, how long of notice? And I was like, 2 weeks. I should have given a month because then I would have got paid out a month.
That's amazing.
But I already signed my lease. But I remember the next day waking up at like 4:30 in the morning being like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I don't know how to do any of this.
Yeah, it was scary, I'm sure.
Yeah. Did you feel that way of like...
Oh, I was scared. Oh yeah. And that's what I said though. Like I had my hour of crying and like I cried to my boyfriend for literally an hour and I'm hyperventilating. He's like, you're fine. I'm like, you're right. I am going to be fine. And then it was more of like, again, like what worst case scenario, I'm such an anxious person. So when something happens in my life, I think of like 6 things that are going to happen as a result. And then like, yeah, what's the worst one? And I was like, okay, well, the worst one is everything. I lose everything. And maybe I can't afford to live on my own anymore. So then I move in with my family. And is that the worst? Like I have to go live with my family? I thought, no, I have great parents. So that would have been fine. And I didn't have to. So it all worked out.
Yeah, it's funny when you get in that anxious spiral and you do worst case scenario and you're like, you know what, I have people that I can lean on if I need to. And it's going to be okay. Like it really becomes such a bigger deal in our heads. Yes. And are you now so like, despite that being a really shitty situation, are you so thankful for it now?
Oh yeah. I always say like my worst days now on my own were some of like my best days still in my past life, you know? So, yeah, no, I'm very happy. Yeah. There's challenges of course, but I'm happy.
Totally. And like, if you're willing to share, like what was the breaking point for you? Like they wanted you to sign a document that you didn't feel comfortable signing. And because I think this could be so inspirational for people listening that our employees that are like, I felt bullied into, or I'm feeling pressured into. I think it's such a good story of standing up for yourself and what you believe is right and stuff. So would you be willing to expand more on that scenario?
Yeah, of course. So it actually was a couple months leading up to it. So I worked at a salon where we were on a level system. And I don't know if that's similar in Canada, but like in the US, a lot of salons work on level systems. And when you hit certain indicators like sales, services, client ratio, you're allowed to go up a level and then you get a raise. So I was increasingly going up and going up and going up. And within a year, or like it was maybe even 6-8 months, I was already up for another one. And my boss sat me down. I remember it was like 2 days before my birthday. And we were having a meeting. The meeting turned into like a 2.5-3 hour meeting. And it was basically her just telling me that I would be nothing without them. Everything I achieved was because of them. And even showed me like the numbers of like when I started as an assistant to, you know, where I was and like the increase of revenue. They were like, even your parents haven't had increases like this. I said, you don't know my parents' salary. So that's where it started. Like, I know, crazy. So that's where it started like changing. And then right after that conversation, it was a flip. It was like, we were walking back in the salon and she goes, your hair's so pretty. And I knew immediately like, okay, I'm being groomed for something and something's going to happen soon. And you're trying to break me down a bit to make me feel less because I think they thought I was feeling too big for my bridges. Right. Which I probably did have a bit of an ego and, you know, that's okay. But
yeah, I totally did.
Yeah. And I did too, because I felt good. I was making money. I had a ton of clients. Like I was, you know, with the top people in the salon. So of course I had an ego. But like, I also did it too myself. You didn't do everything for me. These are my hands.
Yeah. Right.
So, right. So then the day comes, and the girls, you know, everyone's like, oh, they want us to sign this policy. And I said, what is it? It's a social media policy. And I said, okay. I go upstairs. We talk about the social media policy. And on the paper, it says, you know, following the social media guideline policy. And I said, okay, well, where's the policy? And they said, well, we're telling you the policy. I said, no. I need a policy. Like I need it in writing. Like I'm happy to oblige. I'm happy to agree. But I need it written out. I need to know what I'm signing to. And they said, well, we're telling it to you right now. I said, no. My mom's in legal. She's a court reporter. So, you know, she's always like, never sign something you don't know. And
that's so good. I remember when you told me that and I was like, damn, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was like throwing up in my mouth thinking like nervous poops, nervous sweats. Should I be saying this? But like, I felt strongly on it. Like, no, again, I felt like because a couple months prior, you know, I felt like this is what it was leading up to. This was going to happen. And yeah, shit just hit the fan. It just hit. And I refused to continue to sign. And I maybe continued to refuse and they were trying to work with me a little bit, but my guard was up at that point. There was a brick wall at that point. I felt like I was being really manipulated almost. So I said, I got to go. And I didn't know what was going to happen. I had a client actually after that meeting. So I had to go do the client. And I went to the bathroom. We had our schedule on our phones. I went to the bathroom and I noticed I could see nothing. I had like all my schedule was completely blank. So I knew they were going to tell me to go home. Yeah. So while I'm working on my client, I'm seeing this.
Whoa.
And yeah, right after
Just
I
like
finished,
sweat going down your back.
Yeah. Oh, I think I took my clothes off in the bathroom that day. Like, cause I got so hot and I went to the bathroom and then I saw it and I was like, holy crap. Like, I'm not going to have a job after today, because why else would I be able to see my schedule? I think they were fearful that I was going to like screenshot it or contact people. And yeah, so I like took my clothes off because I'm sweating profusely in the bathroom. And then I was just like, Rebecca, you got to snap out of it. I finished my client. Her hair looked beautiful. And then, yeah, they pulled me outside and said that, you know, I'm suspended without pay. And, you know, we can meet in a couple days, but it has to be before or after the girls are here. And, you know, the only way I was coming back was if I was going to sign this paper, and I wasn't doing it. So I knew then and there that was it.
And they still didn't have a written, like they weren't hearing you being like, I can't sign something that I don't see the policy.
No, like you would have thought, like there was, you know, 2.5, 3 hours since the conversation. You would have thought, if anything, just type something up.
Yeah.
Just
like, it's not hard.
Your way through. Right. Just type something up. Like that's all I wanted, was to see it in physical writing. I wanted to see the social media policy. There was no policy. I wasn't signing, which it sounds sometimes like I look back and I'm like, Rebecca, was it that extreme? But it was, because it wasn't just that moment. That was like the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah. And I think it's so smart, because they could come out with a written form later on and then you'd have signed this document. Right.
Yes.
And so
yes,
I think it's easy to dim down. I don't even think that's a saying, but like to think, oh, maybe I should have just complied, but realizing like, you don't know what their intentions could or could not. Maybe they had completely pure intentions and they just wanted,
I'm sure they were great people. They were great people until it wasn't, you know, and that's, I think, with a lot of relationships are great until like something changes so quick.
Yeah. And hopefully, because I don't know if you've ever seen, like, I feel like egos get in the game and they probably got defensive. And instead of going, oh, you know what, she's right, they wanted to be, I don't know, this is my just thought. I have no idea who these people are, but they could have been like, oh, our employee thinks she knows more than us. Instead of being open and vulnerable and being like, she's right, we need to get this in writing. But I see so many people in authority think they have to stay above. Right. And then you get this chip on their shoulder.
Yeah, I was, 30 something years younger than them, no college education. I only have a trade certificate. Like, what do I know more than my superior? But I'm bossy and I don't like to be told what to do. So, it just, again, my wall just was put up. So even no matter what, even if they were like, we'll give you $10,000 and this and that, I'd be like, nope, I'm out.
Yeah. And would you say your career has skyrocketed since leaving?
I think so. I mean, I do. I think it's skyrocketed for sure. But then even like, I'm more proud of it because like I'm doing it, I'm showing up every day. I'm here. I used to get knots in my stomach pulling up to work or even driving to work. And I'm like, I don't want to go in. And I love what I do, but I was like losing the passion for what I did because it was like this cloud over my head. And of course there's still days where I'm like, I don't know if I want to work today, but it's mostly because I want to sit on the couch with my cat. But like I love doing hair now again. It brought the passion back. So that's skyrocketing to me. Well,
let's talk about when we first met. I love this because you kind of alluded to it a little bit in the beginning, how yes, you said, because I prefer watching. You were like, could you put it on YouTube? But we met at Ember Retreat.
Yes.
In 2018, right?
Either 2018 or 2019. It's fuzzy because they had two back to back, but it wasn't quite a year in between, I think.
Yeah. September or October of 2018 in Palm Springs, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it was 2018 because it was, I was in Palm Springs with you guys, and then literally a week or two when I came back is when I moved to the space I'm in now. And I've been. Oh,
you were in a different space before.
Yeah, I was in a salon suite for almost a year, and then I got this space, which is a bit bigger, but it's still more private. But it's not. There's not 20 other women up here in little rooms.
Yeah. Do you like? I remember my first impression of you when I first chatted with you, and I was like, "This girl's hilarious! Like, so much fun."
Well, my first impression of you, I was like super fangirly. Like I think I realized that you were coming because you were on like the docket, but I had already been following you. And then you're like Instagramming, like you were like doing a story, I think, when you got there. And I'm in my hotel room, I'm like, oh my God, Dawn's here. Like, I wonder like where she is, you know, like I don't know you yet, but I'm like fangirling in my head. Because even on Instagram, I thought like, oh, I feel like we have so much in common. But then I remember seeing you, and I think I was like really quiet at first because I was like, I don't know what to say. I don't want to sound stupid.
Did we have dinner together the first night? I think we had dinner together the first night.
We might, yeah, I think we did. And I think I was like peeing my pants. Like, Rebecca, what are you gonna say? You know, I'm like, wait, because it's weird when you know, I would imagine this would be like what online dating is, even though like we didn't talk every single day leading up to it, but like, you know, you get to know someone online and then you meet them in real life. Like, oh my God, what do you say?
Yeah. Like I know everything about you.
Yes, exactly. Like, and that's the thing. I knew more about you than you did about me. And I'm like, I don't want to be that weird girl. Like, oh, I loved your outfit you wore 2 weeks ago, you know? But I was very excited to see you for sure.
Oh, I had no idea because you know what? I was so nervous to go there. I remember being in the hotel room storying like, hey, if anyone's here for Ember, let me know, let's meet up. Because I was having like a panic attack about going into a social setting of people I didn't know.
Same. I have a lot of social anxiety. And I remember that story. I think that's the one I saw. And I was like, I can't respond. So I can't see it. I can't. I'm gonna stay right here in my room because like no, I was just so nervous.
Yeah, and isn't that funny? Where like if you would have, I would have been like, let's meet up right now and be best friends. Yeah, like I need someone to walk in there with. It's so funny how we make like the stories in our heads of like, you know, like that person can't be feeling the same way I am or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then we just stayed in touch like on Instagram, I think. And then it was the following May that they had the other one and I was speaking at it again. And I just remember having so much fun with you.
Yeah, I feel like that's where things kind of blossom more. Like I think we got our feet wet the first Ember retreat.
Yeah.
Because you were a presenter, so you were also doing a lot and you presented the second one, but I think you had a little bit more flexibility and I feel like we were able to connect even more. And then we, you know, drove back to LA together from Santa Barbara. So
which was
you're
so
stuck
fun.
in traffic. Yeah. So, and then I think it was I think after the first Ember retreat is when I signed up for your Rock Your Business. I think, or maybe it was the second one.
When was that? Yeah. Cause I remember being like, Rebecca, you need some boundaries.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was your second launch, I think. It was your second launch of Rock Your Business, but because like I told you, you know, I was just thrown into having my own thing and I'm like, all my boundaries were created by, you know, my owners and receptionists. And then I'm like, wait, what the hell do I do now? And I almost was like, give, because I didn't want to lose people. Right.
And then you see the money that comes with that and you're like, woo, this is amazing.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, Dawn came in my life right at the perfect time.
Would you say your boundaries are better now?
Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Like, what do you think has changed since taking Rock Your Business?
What has changed? I think it just gave me like, I knew what to do in the sense of like, you know how to act as a person, you know how you want to be treated, but sometimes you need someone to like validate those feelings for you to think that like, you're not crazy or that like you do deserve that. So I think that really helped. And then also the community of other women. And I think it's mostly women, right? Or
yeah, there are men in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Men and women that, you know, are also going through similar struggles. And you're like, okay, I'm really not alone. And then just having like something to kind of look back on and think like, I don't know, because it's a lot of information starts coming in and you're like, how do you keep track of it? So even like I was just recently on the program again, just like looking through things just as like a reminder. And it's like keeps you on track, I would say.
Oh, good. And so I'm like kind of bouncing all over the place because I forgot we were in Ohio together too.
Oh yeah, Ohio was, oh my God. Yeah, Ohio was a good one. Yeah, it's at Becca's salon.
Yeah, and because I was thinking about Ember and how Becca, so Stella and Shay, she owns Stella and Shay in Cleveland, how she's always saying that you guys were going to share a room together at the next retreat.
Yes.
Now,
Well,
are you
and
guys both going to the next Ember?
I was going. I had a single room though. And I had to refund my ticket
Oh, yeah.
when they changed the dates. I'm also
Yeah.
COVID crazy.
Yeah.
So, like I still haven't gone to any stores or restaurants since March.
Good
So
for
to
you.
get on a plane in February, I think scares the daylights
Yeah,
out of me. No
that's
judgment
fair.
for anyone that wants to go, but I'm just crazy.
Yeah. No, that's not crazy. That's being safe.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you don't have to bunk with her, which is what you're
No.
saying.
No, but I'm like, we've already talked. Like when things get better, I'm like, I'm coming back. I'm coming to Ohio. You know, she just got a new home, and I'm like, I can't wait to see it. And she's fun.
I know, and we were supposed to go again together, and then COVID canceled that. But I remember, I was teaching at our salon. You came in. How far of a drive is it? Like 5 hours or something like that?
Yeah, 5 hours, 5.5 hours.
And we went to this. What was the restaurant? Like not a grilled cheese place, but it was like Was it? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my stomach got extremely upset.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm going to share this.
Go ahead. Go tell.
I just remember we were driving. Were we staying? Were we staying at the same hotel? Or were you just driving me back to my hotel? We were staying at the same hotel.
Yeah.
And so I got in your car and I let one rip. I didn't think it was going to be that bad.
Well, and I don't even think it wasn't that bad, but like I have sensory issues. Like sound and smell is really rough for me. And it instantly came. Like I didn't smell it at first, but then Dawn like said it, and I was like, and I just started dry heaving a bit out the door, the car door. But like I was like, I'm so sorry, Dawn, but it just was like it was a reflex. It just happens.
Yeah, which I should have been the one apologizing. But I remember thinking you were joking at first. You were kind of like, no. And then I was like, oh no, she's like legit gagging.
Legit. Oh. It's okay. It happens. You're not the only one. It's been like multiple people have done it to me. And like I said, it's not even that bad. Like guys, don't think Dawn is like got crazy things going on, but it was just me. I have really weird sensory smell.
No, I felt terrible.
Oh, it's
yeah. So I'm gonna make you gag right now. Good memory. That's when our friendship was really solidified.
Yes, absolutely.
It was me farting in your car.
Yeah, I love it. We're very close.
But I actually think it started. I remember when we drove back to LA from Santa Barbara from the second Ember. That was so much fun. We got in and out and we just chatted. I felt like we like shared so much about our lives. And then I just like hung out at your hotel room for a while, ordered chicken fingers. I still owe you for that, I think.
Oh my God, stop. No, not at
And
all.
I didn't know you were so into hotel rooms.
Oh, that's like my weird obsession. I'm really struggling. And that wasn't even the nicest one. Like it was an okay room, but it was an older one. My next hotel room was like top notch, smart toilet. I like, people have a thing, right? That they spend their money on. Mine is hotels. Like I'll fly Spirit to get to wherever I'm going, but like I'll spend $400 on a hotel room because that's what I value. I like a nice hotel.
Yeah.
I like room service. It makes me feel refreshed. I don't know.
That's so cool. And I think that's such a good story, like for hairstylists to hear about value, because it's like, you don't have to spend a lot on a hotel room. It's a luxury and it's kind of like hair appointments, right? And like some people won't pay for a nice hotel room and some people will.
Right.
And it's, and realizing same with hair appointments, and you can't guess where people's priorities are.
Right. Absolutely. Well, that's like I order usually like on that trip, I ordered breakfast every morning and my room service bill was probably the same cost as like my hotel bill. But like I didn't go to the front desk and be like, ooh, this was just too much. Like I actively came, like I made that a priority. I could have had McDonald's breakfast, but I wanted like luxury, high-end breakfast. I wanted it to taste really good. I wanted the presentation. I wanted the experience. So yeah, I think everyone values things differently, and you also can't judge what someone's pocket is and what they want to spend on it.
No. Totally. Because I remember walking into the hotel with you and we were both like had backpacks on. Like everyone was like in suits and like done up really fancy. And I was like, do we belong here?
That's my favorite thing. Like, I think that's also maybe why I do it, because, you know, I've got purple hair right now, but I've got like tattoos. I'm a different type of body type than maybe some other people. And like, I don't know, I get a kick almost out of living a lifestyle like that at certain places, because I want them to think like, what does she do? Or who is she? You know, when she's coming in with like, sweatpants and a t-shirt on with a ratty old suitcase. Like, judge me. I want to see
Penthouse suite, please. Yeah.
Yes. I wish one day.
One day. Oh, that'd be really fun to just get like a group of people together and rent like I always go, so I live in Calgary, you know that. I always go on like the real estate and go like from like highest price point down and see like what the most expensive home is for sale in the city. And sometimes I'm really shocked at how ugly they are. Mm-hmm. But there was like a penthouse in like one of the high rises here in the city. And I was like, I think I would hate that. Like, I hope they have their own elevator.
Most of the penthouses do usually, and then they like open up to the room. If it's like a one floor penthouse, usually it opens up like right into the house.
Because I would not want to wait for the hotel or for the elevator.
Oh yeah. That's a good point. I look here too, and then I look at taxes. Like the other day I was looking at the most expensive house, and it was, I think, like $67,000 in taxes. And I'm like, okay, so that's not going to happen.
We live right by a really nice area. Well, I think we live in a nice area, but we live like next door to like a really, really nice area. And we were walking Walter the other day, and there was like a house for sale, and it has like a beautiful like hedge around the whole property and like 5-car garage. And they had like the pamphlets, and it didn't even say what the house was for sale for. It just said that like the taxes were like $95,000 a year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's going to be a no.
Yeah. It's fun to dream. I think that's so cool that you're like, you know, get a kick out of like going and being like, yeah, I'll have this room. And you like kind of like want people to be like we really can't, like, I think we sometimes have this expectation of like what someone would pay for high-end services, like especially when it comes to our thinking about our clients, like the client that comes in that, you know, has the Chanel bag and the Louis Vuitton. Is that what they are called? Those red heels? Yeah, I'm so not into that stuff. Those shoes, we think those are the people that will pay for their hair. And yet sometimes those are the people that won't pay for their hair. And yet then we have like I always say, like, I have one client that's in a minimum wage job, and she doesn't bat an eye about paying for her hair because she prioritizes her money different. And it's not even about, well, it can have something to do with wealth, but it's not necessarily how much money someone makes. It's what they value. But it also can be how much money someone makes. It's just there's no rhyme or reason.
I just had a moment like that actually in the salon where I had a new client, and I had some foreshadowing, and like she told me where she lives. So then I'm thinking, and she just came in normal clothes, whatever. And I told her my price, what it was going to be. But then I started giving her other options. And as I started to do that, she's like, no, that's fine. And part of me probably offended her a bit. Like, why would I have now offered her options that would be even less, you know?
Right.
But some of my like more wealthier clients, you know, that you think are wealthy in their houses or nice cars, they'll be like, ooh, that product's actually a little too expensive for me. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Because you just spent like hundreds of dollars to go out to dinner last night on Instagram. So, but everyone values things differently.
And that was like the aha moment for me, is when a friend of mine said that she couldn't afford me. And I remember being offended, and I watched her go out to dinner every night on Instagram. And I was like, she can afford me. She like already paid for her hair in like 3 dinners. But then I realized it's not that she can't afford me. She just doesn't know how to say it's not my priority. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. And being like, okay, I need to stop being offended when someone says you're too expensive or I can't afford you, because they just don't know how to tell me. It's easier to put it onto the other person. It's easier to say, this is your issue, instead of being like, I don't prioritize my money that way. And so now when anyone says you're too expensive or I can't afford you, I just think, okay, your hair's not that much of a priority, and it's totally legit.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, Rebecca, this has been so much fun having you on the podcast.
Thank you. Yeah, this was awesome. I loved it.
I feel like let's just like talk for hours, but where can people, I know you have a podcast.
I do
that
have
you've
a podcast
started
with one of my really good friends, Sydney. It's called Thank You for Noticing, but it's not hair related. It's really like, it's like if you and your girlfriends are together drinking wine and you start talking about people, that's basically what it is.
It's so good though. So fun to listen to. And I think
Thank
will
you.
give, like, if you guys enjoyed Rebecca today, like, you're going to love her even more when you listen to the podcast. Cause it's like,
Dawn.
you feel like you're actually hanging out with you and like gabbing about, I don't know what was the one about the Kardashians or something.
Yeah.
That was going on. Yeah. It was so good. But if people want to connect with you more, like, where can they find you?
Yeah. So on Instagram, I'm Bex Beauty with 3 Ys. And that's pretty much all I use is the Instagram. And I post a lot of hair photos and pictures of my cats and, just want to connect with people.
Yeah. You actually have some like pretty cool YouTube tutorials though, don't you?
I have some old makeup tutorials. And then I'm starting to do more hair tutorials and things like that. So.
Yeah. I remember like creepily finding them and being like, these are amazing.
Yeah.
But you're mostly on Instagram, is where people can find you.
Mostly on Instagram, yes.
And is it Bex, BEX?
BEX Beauty with 3 Ys.
With 3 Ys. All right. Well, I hope everyone that listens DMs you and they get to experience how much fun you are in real time.
Thanks, Dawn. This was awesome.
This is so good. I hope to have you back someday.
Yes, I'd love that. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
All right, there's an episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Oh my goodness. I hope you loved Rebecca as much as I love her. I feel like I could just hang out with her for days and days on end and have the most fun time. Every time I see her in real life, I have the best time. She's got the most wicked sense of humor, as you've noticed, and is just so much fun. And Rebecca actually has a podcast of her own. Go follow her on Instagram. Go DM her. Let her know that you enjoyed this episode. And if you did enjoy this episode, I would love if you like, subscribe, and share this with your friends. All right, until next week, coming at you with another amazing episode. Have a great week, friend, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.